Good evening, students. Welcome to online video class. This is 9th standard chemistry unit 13 chemical bonding lesson. Let's move on. Introduction. We already know that atoms are building block of matters. Atoms are building block of matters. Under normal condition, no atoms exist as an independent entity in a nature. Except noble gases. However, a group of atoms is found to exist together as one species. Such a group of atoms are called molecules. Atoms is found to be exist together as a one species. So this group of atoms are called molecules. Obviously, there should be force to keep the constituent atoms together as thread hold the flower together in a garland. This attraction force which hold the atoms together is called a bond. So atoms are combined to form a molecules. How do molecules formed? Atom combined with another atom. This group of atoms are called molecules. Example, flowers held together by thread. This is one of the bond. So attraction force which held atoms together is called bond. What is chemical bond? Chemical bond may be defined as force of attraction between atoms that bind them together as unit is called molecules. So atom, force of attraction between two atoms to form a molecules. The molecules contains bond. That bond is called chemical bond. Chemical bond. Let's see octet rule. Octet rule. What is octet rule? Already we know outermost shells. The outermost shell electrons are called valence shell. The valence electrons contains 8 electrons. These 8 electrons are called rule of 8. The tendency of atoms to have 8 electrons in valence shell. Valence shell is known as rule of 8 or octet rule. Octet rule. What is octet rule? The outermost shell contains 8 electrons. This rule is called rule of 8 or octet rule. The octet rule used to form a formation of cations and anions and also form of chemical bonding. Let's see types of chemical bond. Chemical bond classified into two types. One is strong bond, another one is weak bond. The strong bond further classified into 4 types. One is ionic bond, second one is covalent bond, third one coordinate bond, fourth one metallic bond. Strong bonds are classified into 4 types. What are the 4 types? Ionic bond, covalent bond, coordinate bond, metallic bond. The weak bond classified into 2 types. One is hydrogen bond, another one is van der Waals attraction. In this video, I am explaining one type of bond, that is ionic bond. Ionic bond otherwise said to be electrovalent bond. So what is ionic bond? The ionic bond is chemical bond. Ionic bond is one of the chemical bond. This bond is formed by electrostatic attraction between positive and negative ions. The bond formed between two atoms when one or more electrons are transferred from the valence shell of one atom to another valence shell of the atom. This is called ionic bond. How ionic bonds are formed? Two ions, one is cations, another is anion. One cations and anions are combined to form a bond. The bond is called ionic bond. The bond formed between two atoms. One or more valence electrons are transferred into another valence shell atom. So that's why formed of ionic bond. How to form positive ion? How to form negative ion? The atom that lost electrons The atoms that loses electrons will form a cations, that is positive ions. Positive ions. Loss of any atom loss of electrons to form a cation, that is positive ion. At the same time, the atom that gain electrons will form a anions, that is negative ions. Negative ions. Atom loss of electrons means formation of cations. Atom's gain of electrons means it form a anions. So cations is positive charge ion, anions is negative ions. So both positive and negative ions combine to form a molecule. This formation is called ionic bond. Ionic bond. The opposite charged ions come closer to each other due to electrostatic force of attraction and thus form a ionic bond. Form a ionic bond. How ionic bond forms? Opposite charge. What are the opposite? Positive and negative. Cations and anions. The opposite charged ions are come closer to each other due to strong electrostatic force of attraction. That's form a ionic bond. Ionic bond. As the bond is between ions. What are the ions? Cations and anions. So it is called ionic bond. Ionic bond. Ions make a bond. So this bond is called ionic bond. What are the ions? Cations and anions. So bond is between ions. The bond is between cations and anions. So it is called ionic bond. Ionic bond. What force between this bond? Strong electrostatic force. The attractive force being electrostatic. So bond is called electrostatic bond. Electrostatic bond. Since the valence concept has been explained in terms of electrons, it is called as electrovalent bond. Electrovalent bond. What is ionic bond? The bond formed between the ions. What are the ions? Cations and anions. So it is called ionic bond. The ionic bond formed by strong force of electrostatic force of attraction. So this is called electrostatic bond. The valence concept also explain this bond. So this is called electrovalent bond. Electrovalent bond. How ionic bonds are formed? Ionic bond is one of the chemical bond. It is formed by electrostatic attraction between positive and negative ions. Positive and negative ions. Loss of electrons means formation of cations. Gain of electrons means formation of anions. These cations and anions combine to form ion. So this bond is ionic bond. Ionic bond. What force between this bond? Strong electro force. So otherwise said to be electrostatic bond. It's also explained the valence concept. So it is called electrovalent bond. Electrovalent bond. Let's see how formation of ionic bond. Let us consider two atoms, namely A and B. Let atom A has 1 electrons in excess and atom B has 1 electron lesser. Let the stable octet electronic configuration. What is octet rule? The outermost shells, that is valence shell. Valence shell contains 8 electrons, means this rule is called octet rule. This configuration is said to be stable electronic configuration. Atom A excess 1 electrons in valence shell. Atom B lesser 1 electrons in valence shell to attain stable electronic configuration. If atom A transfer 1 electrons to atom B, then both the atoms will be get stable octet electronic configuration. And we know atom A have 1 excess electrons. So these excess electrons transfer to atom B. So atom B already lesser 1 electrons in 1 electrons to attain stable electronic configuration. So atom A transfer 1 electrons to atom B. The both atoms will be attain stable electronic configuration. So as the result of this electron transfer, atom A will be positive ions, atom B will be negative ions. So two ions formed, one is cations and anions. These opposite charge ions are held together by electrostatic force of attraction, which is called ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Already we know how ions are formed. Loss of electrons means cations are formed. Gain of electrons means anions are formed. So opposite charges are come closer to form a ions. This ion is called ionic bond. Ionic bond. In this example, atom A is a positive charge ion, that is cations. Atom B is a negative charge ion. The atom A loss of one electron, so we will get positive ions. Atom B gain of one electrons, we get negative ions. So both opposite charge ions come closer to form a bond. Which force is formed? A strong electroforce. These ions are held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction. So which bond is called as ionic bond, or it is called electrovalent bond. Electrovalent bond. In general, ionic bond is formed between metal and non-metal. Metal and non-metal. The compounds containing ionic bonds are called ionic compound. The compound contains ionic bond. These compounds are called ionic bond. The compounds containing ionic bond. So these substances are called ionic bond. Ionic compounds. Ionic compounds. Group elements of group 1 and group 2 in periodic table. That is, group 1 elements are alkali metals, group 2 elements are alkali earth metals. These metals formed ionic compounds. Then they react with non-metal. Non-metal. The group 1 elements are called alkali metals, group 2 elements are called alkali earth metals. These elements are formed ionic these compounds are called, these metals formed ionic compounds. Then they react with non-metals. Let's see more to know. The number of electrons that an atom of elements losses or gains to form a electrovalent bond is called electrovalency. What is electrovalency? Number of electrons that an atoms of elements loss or gain to forms the electrovalent bond. So this is called electrovalency. Let's see example of formation of ionic bond. The first example, formation of ionic bond in sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is the formula of sodium chloride, NaCl. The atom of sodium, atomic number is 11. So it is electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. 2 is a K shell electron, 8 is a L shell electron, 1 is a M shell electron. So what is they have 3 shells present in a sodium atom. So electronic configuration of sodium is 2, 8, 1. Sodium symbol Na, electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. Atomic number 11. It has one excess electron in nearest stable electronic configuration of noble gases, neon. Neon atomic number 10. Neon electronic configuration 2, 8. So sodium excess 1 electrons in nearest noble gas electronic configuration. So sodium has tendency to lose 1 electrons to form a outermost shells and acquire stable electronic configuration. Last 1 electrons to form a 2, 8 electrons in outermost shells. 2, 8 means the outermost shell contain 8 electrons. So it attains noble gas electronic configuration of neon. So easily get stable electronic configuration. So loss of 1 electrons means sodium get stable electronic configuration to form a cations. What cations? That the cation is Na plus. Sodium atomic number 11, electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. In outermost shell contain 1 electrons. This 1 excess electron lost, we get formation of cations. What the cation is Na plus ion. So we easily get stable electronic configuration of neon. The another atom, chlorine. The atomic number of chlorine is 17. Its electronic configuration 2, 8, 7. The outermost shell contains 7 electrons. It is 1 electron lesser to nearest noble gas electronic configuration of argon. So chlorine has tendency to gain 1 electrons to occur to stable electronic configuration forming chloride anion. So the chlorine atom gain 1 electrons to form a octet, that is stable electronic configuration of argon electronic configuration 2, 8, 8. So chlorine gain 1 electrons to form a anions. What ion? Chloride anion. Chloride anion. The symbol of chloride anion Cl minus. Cl minus. When atom of sodium combine with atom of chlorine, an electron is transferred from sodium atom to chlorine atom, forming sodium chloride molecules. Thus, both the atoms attain stable octet electronic configuration. See this picture. Sodium atomic number 11, number of electrons 11, electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. First shell contains 2 electrons, second shell contains 8 electrons, third shell contains only 1 electrons. So third shell is a valence shell, is one excess of 1 electrons present in valence shell. The chlorine atomic number 17, number of electrons 17, electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. The blue dots represent chlorine electrons, red dot represent sodium electrons. So sodium contains excess in 1 electrons in a valence shell. Chlorine lesser 1 electrons. So sodium gain electrons from sodium, loss 1 electrons to chlorine atom. So easily get 2, 8 configuration, and sodium attain 2, 8 configuration, chlorine attain 2, 8, 8 configuration. So both are get outermost shell 8 electrons. It will be octet rule. In this picture, sodium contains only 2 sodium cations contains only 2 shells. What are the 2 shells? K and L. So outermost 1 electron transfer to chlorine atom. So chlorine contains 2, 8, 8 configuration. So formation of ions. What is ions? Na plus. Na loss of electrons means Na plus, sodium plus ion formed. Gain of electrons means Cl minus ion formed. Both are opposite charge. Opposite charge come closer to each other due to formation of a strong electrostatic force of bond and to form a ionic bond. These opposite charge ions come closer to each other due to electrostatic force of attraction and form a ionic bond. Sodium loss of 1 electrons to form a Na plus ion. Chlorine gain 1 electrons to form a Cl minus ion. So both valence shell contain 8 electrons. Both are attain stable electronic configuration. So we easily get ions. What are the ions? Cations and anions. Sodium is cations, chlorine is anions. Both opposite charge ions come closer to form a bond. The bond is called ionic bond. Dear students, learn today's topic. Today's topic is only for ionic bond and types of chemical bond. Note the assignment question. First question, what is electrovalency? What is electron? This is answer for electrovalency. The second question, what is ionic bond? What is ionic bond? Note the assignment question in your classwork note. Learn today's topics. Thank you, students.